Happy Monday. I have a battle for you from the tournament series again. There was actually something I realized about this game that was really important, but there's not something I could have done about it. I'm going to explain it very thoroughly afterwards. But for now, it's against a guy by the name of Alex. It's not Snorkus like I usually play. Go figure that Alex is actually kind of a common name. Different Alex. Still see him often enough. And we had a good game. So, threats on the team. Exploud is very much threat number 1. Chandelure is also threat number 2, and Sableye is just annoyance number 1, and everything else I think I can deal with. Frostlass just doesn't really have the stopping power to compete with anything else going on ghost-wise. Furfrou is just a physical wall with an ability gimmick, so just take it out with a special attack. And Meloetta, I will cross that bridge when I come to it. For now, I think Kecleon with Sucker Punch can handle it, or if I keep my Staraptor around, that also works out too. So, he's going to go ahead and lead off with his Furfrou. I'm going to go ahead and lead off with my Staraptor. Knowing that Fur Coat will enable him to take a close combat, I want to get some chip damage off first and just go ahead and U-turn out of there to see what I can do about it. I thought he was actually going to end up going for a status. It turns out he's purely offensive. We don't know this early in the game, but it was an assumption I made just based on the fact that I don't see many Furfrous with Wild Charge. Unless they're like choiced or like, I don't know. He could be Assault Vest now that I think about it. But I just went for Crunch straight out. It was a really popular thing that people were doing, that they were pivoting out of normal types into ghost types, and I just really wasn't afraid to go for the Crunch on the normal type because they knew I got close combat and they knew it would absolutely wreck their face. So Exploud's going to outspeed me by a little bit. It still doesn't really tell me anything, which is really unfortunate, but I knew I needed something to die, which was a little bit upsetting. Now, in the match previous to this, the one that I uploaded and also took right before this, my Staraptor killed with Brave Bird, which means that this guy is probably running a little bit of HP investment because I know she was max special attack and max speed, and she was a Choice Guard variant, so, you know, they don't really want any HP if at all. But it's what enabled him to live that, and I also lost my Staraptor, which is a very key player, and I really hated losing it that early. It happened a couple of times. It's just really unfortunate. Right here, I do something kind of weird, and I just absolutely 100% fall for a taunt. I was like, what does this thing do? And I was between Hex and Nightshade the entire tournament. I knew I would get walled by normals either way by only having a mono ghost attack, but I knew I was a status spreader. That is one thing I knew. And Hex did come into play a couple of times. This Rotom has it as well. But I knew I wanted to just Willow. When I would bring in Cofagrigus, I would bring it in for the sole purpose of Will-O-Wisping something. And then I could status spread from there. And if there was 2 physical attackers, then, well, shit, I deal with it when I deal with it. But other than that, that was my battle plan with that. It worked out okay. I definitely could have put some better thought into it. But for what it was worth, it made things interesting. Nobody else was really doing anything like that. So for now, he ends up going for a Will-O-Wisp. I'm really glad he did not go for a Recover because I just ended up wanting to kill this thing off. It was the only Sableye I ran into, and it was fucking annoying. It was so annoying. I don't know why I didn't have anything to deal with it. Every other poke in this tournament, I managed just fine, but Sableye was one thing that I definitely had to think to get through it. So Furfrou comes back in. I'm actually just going to go right back out into my Cofagrigus, and excuse me while I pause this next part really quick because I totally forgot to speed it up, but it's really time-consuming and pointless. Actually, wait, just kidding. It's not the part that I'm thinking of. But he U-turns out into Frostlass, and I know I am a dedicated physical wall because I'm max HP, max defense, that kind of thing. But I know because I have a good amount of HP and Frostlass is just not an offensive powerhouse, I'm going to stay in here and break its sash. Why not, if it has one? I didn't really learn that knowledge, but you know what? Damage is damage. I'm still going to try to get it off. He doesn't really have anything that merits me wanting to keep the thing around much longer. Cofagrigus is less and less valuable because he's already lost... I don't think he really had many physical attackers to begin with outside of this thing, which I can just definitely burn in the first place. It was either Shadow Sneak or Sucker Punch. Both would have failed if he switched to a normal type. But you know what? Oh, this is the part. This is the part right here. Hold on. Okay, so what happened here is basically I just burn stall this thing. He's pretty set on not switching it out. and he wants to get a safe switch on something else. I don't want anything else to take the damage. I thought, okay, if I could bring in Meloetta safely, I would, but he's got U-turn, so it's really not something I want to try setting up on in the first place, especially since he got status off on me. So I'm just going to sit in here and let him do about as much damage as I'm recovering with leftovers, and that's fine. That's fine by me. So Furfro dies after like 8 really time-consuming turns in real time. And Frostlass is going to come in, get some Toxic Spikes damage. This is, or not Toxic Spikes damage, but it gets Poison. This is really important because after he goes for an Ice Beam on my Meloetta, he tries to go for a Destiny Bond on this turn. And it doesn't work because I know that Frostlass gets that shit. I'm not going to try to take it out. I'm going to keep this Meloetta around as long as I can. And, yeah, I just go for a Calm Mind right in his face as he dies to Poison. Now, the way I played this endgame, I was okay with it at the moment, but in hindsight, no, I definitely should have gone for something else, and I will explain why in a second here as soon as it happens. So first off, as Meloetta comes in, I learn it's more of a physical it's probably more of a physical variant just because he's got Life Orb and he's got U-turn. He's probably also got close combat because he planned on being Step Form, but with all the ghosts around, I decided that was probably a bad meta call. I mean, if I'm dealing with it right now, it's a thing. This thing, I should have just gone for a Fake Out and then a Sucker Punch. I reasonably had nothing to fear because he probably did not have sub, and if he did, I definitely could have just gone out into Cofagrigus right here. So I was like, okay, I'll go out into this thing, and he's going to take some more poison damage, blah, blah, blah. But the thing that ended up happening is I got 3rd in this tournament with Round Robin, because I tied with the 2nd place person but lost to the 2nd place person. So he got 2nd and I got 3rd. But this guy I played ended up beating both of us by 1 point. Meaning that if I preserved an extra Pokemon in this matchup right here, and I had switched out to Kecleon in this moment right here to take the Psychic, I would have had an extra point and I would have tied with him. I would have tied with this guy for first. But because I won, I would have gotten first and he would have gotten second. So, at the time, I didn't know that was how it was going to pan out. And I thought it was really risky just because he did have close combat. And he definitely could have predicted that. I'm pretty sure Kecleon could have taken the Psychic from that range too. Just because of natural bulk. But it ended up being that he won with 17 points. Me and the other guy won with 16 points. But he won the match against me. So I got 3rd, he got 2nd. And man, it's really crazy to think that just one more point, one poke, one move right there. If I had just had the balls to just switch out into Kecleon and say, hey, this was a reasonable play to make here. I could have taken a U-turn, I could have taken a Psychic, I could have taken a Relic Song if he wanted to go for it. Anything but the close combat. Or if I had just gone for Sucker Punch right there, I was just too scared of the substitute. I don't really know why. I just thought, okay, you know what? He knows I have Sucker Punch. He's probably going to try to dodge it somehow. That was my thought process behind it. It was a little flawed, but it was that opportunity, and there was one other opportunity in the middle of the tournament that I just fucked up huge on. But it was just 2 little things. I still ended up placing 3rd overall. It was still a really fun time. This was one of the matches from the finals brackets, which is why I'm going on to say that so early. So that's going to do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, though. I've got other matches from this, so we're just going to kind of be hopping around my experience at the time. But if you guys enjoyed it, you can definitely leave a like rating, comment, subscribe, do your thing, and I will definitely see you guys on the next one. Bye.